Hello, I'm Christopher Bayliss from Fast Growth Online. Thank you for downloading the Fast Growth workbook entitled Significantly Increase Your Brand Value. Today, I'm at the offices of RT Brand Communications, and I'm with Ross Thornley, who's the Managing Director of RT. Thank you very much for your valuable time.
No problem. Thank you.
Ross, just tell us a little bit about what RT does.
Sure. We're a brand communications agency, and what we focus on is how to connect a brand with their audience through emotional and rational ways, and that's really where our sweet spot is.
Super. Ross and his company, which employs about 20 or 30 people, works with some very large companies, household names, and some smaller companies. So what he's going to share with us is very relevant to all of us who are watching this film. Ross, I wanted you to focus on a brand that most of our viewers around the world will be aware of. Which one are you going to focus on today?
The one that I've picked to illustrate and use as an example is Red Bull. For a fairly young brand, started in the late 80s, I think they've done a significant job in making their brand both aware, successful, and a good fit for their audience.
So Ross, please can you read just the title page of this workbook?
Sure. So this Fast Growth workbook for you to significantly increase your brand value. The purpose of the workbook is to assist you to assess your company's brand value and then plan how to significantly increase it. The goal is that within 12 months, through your higher brand value, you substantially increase the worth of your company.
I love that word, worth. Much of what we do in Fast Growth is increasing the value, which is similar to worth, but I think it's even a higher level. This is what this is all about. And if you think of Red Bull and the value or the worth of that company as a result of this is huge, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah. Okay.
Ross, if you'd like to turn to page 1, and this is the heart, this is the first hint, this is the heart of it. When we co-created this workbook, we identified 5 factors, which we're going to just run through lightly in a moment. Just can you read the major titles, not the individual titles?
Sure. And as with this workbook, the idea is for you to do it yourselves, and this is valuing your brand in those 5 areas. The first one is about awareness, and you'll see there this is a measure out of 1 to 10, and an example of 1 is people aren't aware of your company or service, and 10, your customers know who you are, often think of you, and a typical example is you'll get lots of high level of inbound inquiries for that.
Very valuable.
Very, very valuable. The other area is about understanding. Do your prospects and customers understand what you offer? The belief, do they believe in what you offer? Do you or your team truly believe in it? The fit, this one is about the alignment of your audience. So is that male? Is it female? Is it particular geography? Is it a particular age range? Make sure that the fit is right for what you sell. And then creating desire. And there's lots of techniques to really create desire. And this is about avoiding price traps of discounting. And desire is something where people will travel far for it, they'll pay more for it, and that's the real brand value and the margin that you'll get.
So what we're saying here is currently assess yourself on a scale 1 to 10, where 1 is barely adequate, 10 is outstanding, using those things as pointers, and give yourself a score out of 50. And then in 6 months' time, do it again. Before we move on to other hints, tell us about Red Bull and in your view, in your opinion, where they've done particularly well in this.
Well in these. Well, for example, the awareness, I'll be surprised if you haven't heard of Red Bull. They're sold in pretty much every country. Last year, they sold 5 billion of these. And that's, no mean feat for a company that started in 1987. And the awareness has been through doing things big, doing it fast, and being well aligned. So for example, you may have seen the coverage for Felix when he jumped out of space as a skydiver. They sponsor F1. A lot of it is extreme sports. And for them, the awareness is really, really important, and they've done that super well. Combining that with the fit. So most of it's aimed at male and those extreme sports. So whether that is skiing, sponsoring motocross, really, really interesting events that is a perfect fit for their audience. And I think the other thing that's quite interesting in what they've done is understanding exactly what it is. They created the energy drink market. And there's now quite a lot of other brands that have entered into the valuable market space. When they first did the research, it came back, nobody liked it. Nobody liked the taste. So the understanding of what it does and its content, it actually got the guy who started it over his jet lag because of the ingredients in it. So putting the strapline of "it gives you wings," that's a real helpful understanding of what it does right at the heart, and that transcends all of their communication pieces that's done. So their understanding, I think they've done very, very well.
Using this particular fast growth workbook will give your business wings as well.
Certainly will.
Thank you, Red Bull. Yeah, so hint one was this very simple but effective framework for assessing your brand value. Hint number two is how to make some simple changes in those 5 areas. So Ross, if you could turn to page 4A and 4B, and the viewers will do the same. That covers some simple changes you can do. Just focus on one, just take the top one, awareness.
Sure. I think these simple changes are quite profound and really strategic, and we've given a few examples here. So for awareness, you could use giveaways or loss leaders. Loss leaders are where you might have a particular product or service that you give away to entice them in, so you can start that communication happening.
From page 1, you've already scored yourself against awareness. You put that score in the box there. And Ross has given you some useful examples of how you can radically improve your awareness. What I'm going to suggest now is that you, on your own as business leader, jot your own ideas down on how you can create awareness, and then do the same for understanding and belief, etc.
It's also okay to put in here things that you've already done. You've probably tried a few things that actually worked well and some that didn't. Put them in there because they can always be used when you do this then with your team afterwards, and do it in pairs, do it in teams, because the more heads on this sort of thing, the better.
Yeah, definitely. So do it yourself first and then do it with your team, ideally in pairs. Okay, that's the second hint. Third hint is have a plan. Great believer in plans in fast growth. And on page 5, there's an example of a plan. At the top, put your goal that you've created earlier in the workbook, and then the key problem you might face, you need to overcome, and then the key changes you're going to make. Very, very simple, very visual that you can see. So, before we close, there are some books on how to increase brand value, and the one that I found very helpful was a book entitled The Brand Gym by How to Gain and Retain Brand Leadership by David Taylor and David Nichols. Definitely recommend you get a book like this and study it with your team. Also, of the 50 workbooks, there's another workbook entitled Transform Your Brand, Content on Online Presence. This particular workbook has been looking very much at brand. This other one looks at content and online presence. And the results are just astonishing in some of the small to medium-sized companies where it's been used. Ross, we focus on Red Bull, which is a huge company. Many of the viewers here have got small companies. Would you please share with us a couple of examples, or one example of a company that's used this workbook and the results they've achieved?
Sure. I think as any business grows, whether that's from one person or many, there's different areas that this has an effect on. Two examples I can give very specifically. One was looking to recruit people. And actually the effect of understanding who they were, what their brand was, creating awareness, better fit, they managed to get better talent on board. And really significant when you're trying to grow a business is get the right people. So that had a big effect there. Another organisation that was slightly larger, they used it, and over a 2-year period significantly increased the value of their company and the worth, and managed to exit to one of the largest players in their market sector. So a real success story.
Very strategic. Ross, I know you've got great plans for the growth of RT. May I wish you every success with those, and thank you again for co-creating this workbook and giving up your valuable time today for our viewers.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you and good luck.